If you spend some time in downtown Fullerton, California, you'll start to realize pretty quickly that this is a city built around railroads. And as I discovered on my recent visit to the city, it wasn't just one railroad. Within a single block south of Commonwealth Avenue in downtown Fullerton, you'll find three very different train depots, built by three very different railroad companies. The first I'll show you is Santa Fe Depot, certainly the biggest and perhaps the most impressive of the three. The building we see today went up in 1930, replacing an older wooden station built in 1888. By then, the Santa Fe Railway was a powerhouse in the Southwest, running both heavy freights and passenger trains through Fullerton for decades. The Santa Fe Railway built this station in the Spanish colonial revival style, complete with a red tile roof, stucco walls, arcading, the whole package. On the inside, it's got that very simple elegance you find in a lot of 1930s Southwestern train stations. Dark wood trim with Art Deco details, iron fixtures adorning the walls, and a modest seating arrangement in the middle. After all, Fullerton's population at the time was just 11,000. Today, it's 140,000, and this is still the city's only active station. If you know anything about my previous train station visits, you already know my favorite detail adorning this station's facade. Of course, it's the iconic Santa Fe logo. I'm always happy to find this logo in any form, and here it's no less iconic. I'm actually writing this video on a road trip through the southwestern US, and I'm collecting quite the camera roll of Santa Fe Railway iconography. I even stumbled upon a corporate building in downtown Amarillo. I'll probably make a video on that sometime in the future. But back to Fullerton. See, the city wasn't just a local stop for Santa Fe. At the time, you could catch the San Diegan here and ride down to San Diego, or connect eastward to big-name trains like the Grand Canyon that ran to Arizona. There was also the Angel and the Saint trains that ran a route from San Diego to San Francisco throughout the 1910s. So yeah, plenty of long-distance passenger trains rolled through this once small-town train depot. And the best part is, today the building is still doing the same job, something you can't say for most train depots of the era. Amtrak's Pacific Surfliner from San Luis Obispo to San Diego stops here, and Metrolink runs two of its commuter lines through here, the 91 Paris Valley Line and the Orange County Line. Right next door is the Union Pacific Depot, built in 1923. What jumped out immediately to me was this big shield cast into the stucco, with the phrase Union Pacific System across the top, and the Overland route underneath. I saw an identical crest in Boise, Idaho earlier in the year, so I had to do a little more research. For Union Pacific, this was basically their logo and branding during the time. By the 1920s, Union Pacific ran a whole family of railroads under the Union Pacific System name, and the Overland route had become their flagship slogan since the 19th century, when they marketed their transcontinental line as the fastest way to travel across the country. The building itself is Mission Revival style, with a white stucco facade, red tiles, and that distinctive dome feature you see on many Union Pacific depots of the era. Union Pacific actually used this exact look and color scheme all over the West in the early 1920s. You see the same style in Caliente, Nevada, Kelso, California, and yes, even Boise Depot. For Union Pacific, this depot was all about competition. Santa Fe had already dominated Orange County, but Union Pacific wanted a foothold of their own. Upon completion, passenger trains connected Fullerton northward to Los Angeles and onward to Salt Lake City and the interior west. But by the post-war years, passenger service dwindled as cars and highways reshaped regional travel. It's truly amazing how quickly Southern California fell in love with the automobile by mid-century, and predictably has yet to fully recover from it. By the 1970s, the depot sat underused and at risk of demolition, but thankfully the city of Fullerton instead chose to preserve it. It's since been repurposed into an old spaghetti factory restaurant, still featuring Union Pacific's logo frozen in time over 100 years later. This one is a private business, so I didn't really want to go in and just record the place, but it looks like it's pretty extravagant in there. Turns out you can even eat your Americanized Italian food inside a recreation of a Pacific Electric red car. Which takes us to our third and final depot. Opposite the parking lot to Santa Fe's and Union Pacific stations, you'll find the Pacific Electric Depot, which at the time was owned by Southern Pacific. This is a smaller station, but it's probably my favorite, if for no other reason than the fact that it's woven into Fullerton's downtown commercial urban fabric. It's just impressive, frankly. I really do love finding passenger rail artifacts in 100-year-old cities. It kinda makes me feel like an archaeologist, when in reality, I'm just an urbanist. Built in 1918 at the end of Pacific Electric's Fullerton branch to La Habra, it cost about $10,000 to construct. It's another Mission Revival design, low, linear, with big roof brackets and large glass windows. Pacific Electric never made Fullerton a true passenger hub whatsoever. Its trains ran with far more freight than people over the years, hauling citrus from packing houses and ranches around Orange County. Passenger service was actually so poor that it was discontinued in 1938, just 20 years after it started. Freight continued much longer, though, with boxcars serving local industry into the 1960s. The line approached the depot from the north along what is now the Juanita Cook Greenbelt Rail Trail, and then further south through Fullerton College, eventually making a turn west at Santa Fe Avenue, and then north up this small alignment turned pedestrian plaza. After the red cars left, it turned into a full-time Greyhound station for decades. Greyhound pulled out in 1976, and ever since the building has occupied a string of restaurants. Today, it's Hopscotch, a bar and brewery. This one's another private business that I couldn't record inside of, but it's been remodeled so many times you probably wouldn't even recognize it as a train station in the first place. Though the outside still gives it away, for me. It's like a mini version of the previous two stations, taking the color scheme of the Santa Fe Depot and the form of Union Pacific's. But I haven't yet shown you my favorite part of this entire complex. A collection of old train cars, one from each of the 3 railroad companies we've talked about today. Again, Southern Pacific owned the Pacific Electric Railway, and come on, these red cars are really hard to come by nowadays. I mean, I've managed to find a few, but still. And if you want to see a video where I go find all of them around Southern California, well, just hit that subscribe button. For now though, I'll see you next week, right here, from 4th place.